The program you are about to see is the second part of a 12-part series produced by Mashpee TV and the Mashpee Substance Use Task Force. This episode will introduce you to the Mashpee Parents Supporting Parents group and show the significant impact that this support group and others like it can have on families who have someone struggling with addiction.
Get yourself educated, go find a support group, go learn as much as you can about this as early as you can. Because you have to make some tough decisions, and some of them are counterintuitive.
I found Parents Supporting Parents because I recently had moved to Onset, and after my son had been in Gosnold, I had asked for a group in this area because I was going up to McLean's. So that being said, I was traveling over an hour and a half just to go to my McLean's meeting because it was really important to me to have the support of other parents.
I mean, if love could fix them, we've certainly tried that, but those of us who have been around it and have tried it, when a new person comes in.
I first found the group through a girlfriend who also had a family member that was struggling. So through her, she had heard about Parents Supporting Parents, so she brought me to the group. And from the first time I went, it was where I needed to be.
I do find that when I do talk about it, it usually opens the door for somebody else, that other person to
In January of 2013, I attended my first Parents Supporting Parents meeting, and subsequently I also went to the Gosnold family meetings, and thank goodness that these meetings are there. Walking into the support group, the Parents Supporting Parents, or one of the any number of support groups, the first step is the hardest. Just like the person with substance use disorder, the first step is going to be the hardest, getting into treatment. The support groups for us is like getting into treatment for ourselves. The first meeting, most people are, like I felt, like deer in the headlights. You're overwhelmed with so many different feelings and emotions.
Parents, yes.
And I think outreach is a big part, and finding them and getting them early and say, hey, you need to go to some meetings, you need to learn something about this. It's not hopeless.
No.
It's difficult, you got a long road ahead of you. But
the main thing is just to be there, and the support that other parents can give you, you take from it what you can use to your own situation. For me, it's just staying grounded, knowing how to deal with someone with substance use disorder, which is so has so many different avenues and bridges and whatever you want to say to cross. And it sort of, helps you deal with every situation you're going to encounter. Not might, you will.
We went for the family meeting to pick him up after 7 days. I actually thought that my son just spent 7 days and he's all fixed now. And this is 10 years ago. It went on for 10 years. I was so naive. I thought it was going to be over in 7 days.
Yeah,
I know nothing.
years ago when Madison was in high school.
There's a lot of different stages. I've been going through this for quite a long time, probably somewhere that I've known almost 14 years. Then you see a parent come in that has dealt for the first time, that realizing her son, daughter, loved one, husband, whatever it may be, has a substance abuse problem. And it's the beginning of a long road. So all of us that are there are at different avenues right now. Some are at the beginning stages, some are in the middle, some unfortunately have lost their loved ones. So you just listen to so many different stories, and how many stories are similar, and some stories that are coming to an end of someone in recovery. So there's hope. There's always hope. So it's a lot of different layers.
The first time you put them out of the house or into a program,
Christmas
believe me,
Eve,
it's the most dramatic time that you'll never forget it, because it's burned in your memory that when you did it, but it was the start of you getting stronger and doing the right thing. And
For my son, he said one of the beginnings of his recovery was when I left him in Providence, and I told him that I was done, and he had asked me if he could have just some money for food, and I said, no, you've always found a way to get your money for drugs. I said, there's plenty of soup kitchens, there's plenty of shelters. You're gonna have to figure it out. You've always figured it out. Now it's your time to figure it out, because Mom's done. I can't do any more. And that was an awful, awful ride home, because I cried and I cried and I cried. And it took a long time to stop crying, because as a parent, you just, it's very hard to do that. It's hard to say it, because it really does bring back a lot of it's hard to say it, but a lot of bad memories. It's a lot of PTSD when you even go to try and say it, that you have to do that to your kid, but you have to do that to your kid. At least I had to do that for my kid, because for me, to know that I hadn't tried everything, you know, to leave one stone unturned, if something had happened to him, that would have eaten me inside if something had happened to him and I hadn't tried that. Because I knew that was one of the things that everybody said, or a lot of people say, you need to do, and I hadn't done it yet. So at that point, because you do go through a process as a parent where you're almost preparing, and you can never be prepared for your child's death, but when you're dealing with drug addiction, you know that death is a possibility.
You're never done. Recovery is great, and we have parents that have children that have recovered and been in recovery for 2 years, 3 years. My son has been in recovery for 3 years. He will always be in recovery. That never ends. Whatever the recovery program is something they have to maintain for the rest of their lives. Just as any disease, which this is a disease, but when any other disease, there's maintenance, and addiction has maintenance, and you have to always keep that maintenance going, or the disease finds itself.
I think that's why it's so important to us too, to stay strong, to keep coming and getting the support that we need from our fellow group members, you know, because that is what keeps me strong. I mean, these girls are my sisters, you know. I mean, I go every week.
That's the importance of having the group and having the support, is to get you through those times. And unfortunately, we have had the losses of fatal overdoses in our group, and that in itself is also a situation and a time where those families that are going through that we help them get through that as well.
We are a family, parents supporting parents. These people know what each one of us has gone through. We talk together, we lift each other up, we support each other. We get it, we get each other.
And it's really helped me, I think, help my son. I mean, he loves that I come to the group. He's definitely has said that has made a difference in his recovery. You know, he always says, you know, oh, you go into your group? That's great, Mom. You know, like he likes that I come to the group. It makes a difference in how I am with him. You know, I went from being an angry mom to a mom who understands his disease and can speak about it in an educated way and can help others too.
I mean, if I called any one of these people and said I need help, they'd be at my door in 2 seconds.
It's definitely made a difference for me, and I hope I'm making a difference too in helping to change the stigma
of addiction. So, yeah.
You know, anyone's welcome at any time. We have a Facebook page, which is an open page, which is used to share information, but not used to talk about our loved ones because it is an open page.
We play an important part in our kids' recovery. You know, many times we've had kids come and speak who have found recovery, and they will tell us what to do. And one of the important things that they say is, you know, stop the guilt first, you know, like you have, you know, there's no reason for you to have any guilt, but they also want us to stop the enabling, because the enabling is a huge part of them finally seeing that it's going to stop and them reaching out to recover, you know, to recover. You know.
That's why this, Mashpee TV thing is good, because hopefully some, people will tune into it and say, oh, gee, maybe that's something I should be thinking about. And
Right.
I mean, I think, outreach is probably the single most important part of this.
I think so too, yeah.